Hey everyone, it is BrickLover18 here today, back with another episode of Between the Bricks. Between the Bricks is my storytime series here on YouTube where I basically just deep dive into some of the stories that I have related to LEGO in my life. Today, in honor of all the new releases that are coming out very shortly for the May 1st promo and the ones that have been coming out this week, I thought I'd tell you a little bit about what my experience was like as a LEGO store employee working at the LEGO store when some of the biggest release sets were coming out and how we kind of navigated that. Here are some tips and tricks that might help you when trying to get the next LEGO sets. So I worked at the LEGO store in April 2019 to September 2019. I only worked there for a few months, but during my few months there, I had an absolutely amazing experience. Working there, I loved the people, loved everything that it stood for, and would even go back to the LEGO store if, things permitted in my life, but unfortunately they don't. During my time when I was at the LEGO store, I started the same day that the Mickey Mouse boat, the Steamboat Willie, actually came out. So that's roughly kind of around the same time period. While I was at the LEGO store, some very large sets were being released. One of the biggest one was the Stranger Things set, which I'll talk about later. I went through several different release seasons, all the Star Wars promos, the Friends set as well. That was coming out when I was working there, and a whole bunch of things. So it was a very exciting time for the LEGO community and LEGO itself. The first story I'm going to tell you about is when the Stranger Things set was coming out, because I think that was one of the most exciting releases that I had when I worked at the LEGO store. So if you can think back to 2019, and maybe my memory is a little fuzzy, but I remember the Stranger Things set being one of the most talked about things in the LEGO community because it was being teased and exciting things were coming. Like, people knew we were getting a Stranger Things set, but nobody knew what set it was or what it would look like or anything like that. I worked at the LEGO store when that rumor was kind of circulating. I had seen things online and like rumors about it, details about the set, but no pictures. It was a big secret. This was a direct-to-consumer set. LEGO wasn't announcing it in advance. They were basically going to announce it, I think, at a 7 p.m. one night, and it was going to be available starting immediately at 7 p.m. in like certain locations and online, and it was coming out the next day in the LEGO store. So basically, we got the Stranger Things set. We got two of these sets in the back room, like maybe a month before this was all being released. This is when the rumors were barely starting to circulate on LEGO social media or like the LEGO community. People weren't really sure if this was actually true or not. I remember seeing a post right before I went into work about a rumor that the Stranger Things set, and then people called it fake, and I went into Stranger Things, and my manager took me to the back room, and he was like, "Brad, do you want to see something that's absolutely top secret? You cannot talk about it. You cannot share it on your YouTube channel. Like, it is strictly confidential." I was like, "Of course I do." So he opened up this box that had a big "do not release" on the front, or like confidential. Like, it was very, very obvious not to release it. He pulled out the Stranger Things set. And I was like, "Oh." I remember at the time that was so exciting because I'm new to the LEGO store. This set is like still probably a few weeks away from being released to the public, and I had the first glance at it. I was thrilled. I got to hold the set in my hand, see it and like enjoy it. I was like, "Wow, this is so cool." And again, we were under strict orders from head office not to talk about this set. They wouldn't even refer to it, the Stranger Things set, in the briefings that they sent out. They sent out briefings you could look at on the iPad, like press releases and stuff that were for LEGO employees' eyes only. They said secret set, like, and they gave instructions on what to do with the secret set. They're like, "A secret set is coming to your locations. Do not post about it. Do not share it. It cannot leave the back room. Employees' eyes only. Make sure it's in the boxes in case contractors come back." Like, it was a very, very strict, like, do not release this set. I remember seeing it and I was blown away. I was so excited. And then I got to go back to the floor and pretend like I hadn't seen it. And then a few days later, when we're getting ready for the actual release of the set, we have to start building it. One of the coolest experiences I had as a LEGO store employee was getting to sit in the back room for my entire shift and build this Stranger Things LEGO set before anyone else in the world. Like, it was incredible. A couple of employees that did it. I didn't start it, but I finished it. And it was so cool. The fact that I'm getting to build this set that's unreleased, that nobody even knows exists yet, except for a few people in the world. And I get to build this set. I thought that was the most incredible. Getting assigned to do that day was like the highlight probably of my whole, Lego store experience. That was actually one of the only times I ever sat in the back room my entire shift and didn't have to like go out and serve customers. I got to meet my manager for the very first time that day. My new manager, she was on maternity leave, and then her and I vibed in the back room because she was doing admin stuff. I was building Lego. Anyway, great day overall. Um, but yeah, I got to build that exclusive Lego set. It was absolutely amazing because it hadn't been released to the public yet. Nobody even knew about it. I got to do it all in advance. Like they took my phone, or they wouldn't even let me have my phone near it because like the temptation of like to share pictures and stuff like could not be taken. Like I wouldn't do it. Obviously, I didn't want to lose my job, but I couldn't do something like that, and they knew couldn't afford for something like that to be done. If it got leaked, somebody at our store was getting fired. Like that was how serious this set release was. And then leading up to it, when a picture eventually did get leaked on social media, which looked like it was from a Lego store back room. That's what it genuinely looked like. It looked like a Lego store employee had taken a picture and leaked it. I remember we still were not allowed to talk about it. People would come in and show us this picture and be like, "When's this set coming out?" And I'm like, "I've never seen that set before in my life. Don't know, haven't got anything." We were like we couldn't really tell the truth. Like, it was hard, and because we had to, our jobs were at stake. We did that for a few weeks, like as the rumor started circulating. And then I remember the day it was coming out, we got the press release that it was coming out at 7 p.m. Like, stay tuned. We were not allowed to talk about it until 7 p.m. Eastern time because it was like midnight UK time or whatever it was. And we were very, very strict about it. We had people calling the store all day. I was at the Lego store when this set came out. People were calling the store all day and were like, "When's the Stranger Things set coming out?" We're like, "I have no idea what you're talking about." And I vividly remember at 7 o'clock, we were excited for it. We could not wait. And that's when influencers started posting it. That's when it was announced on all the blogs and everything like that. So it was 7 o'clock. We were waiting. And I remember somebody called it, right? And they're like, "Can you tell me about the Stranger Things set?" And I looked at I was like, "No, sorry, I'm not allowed." And I looked at my watch, saw it was 7:01. I'm like, "Okay, actually, it's this really cool set. It's X amount of pieces. It's coming out tomorrow. It's this price." Like, and we just kind of got to go off, and people in the store were like waiting for us to announce it. As soon as it was hit that 7 o'clock mark, we brought it out to the floor and we started showing people who were in the store who were really interested in seeing this set before it was released. Like, it was just super cool that we got to do something like that, and that was like such a surreal experience. And that was one of my biggest times working at the Lego store during a release set, especially the Stranger Things set. But there was a few other times as well that I remember, getting Lego sets in the back room that we weren't allowed to talk about. So like, other than the Lego sets that were explicitly being kept a secret and maybe were like direct to consumer, we're going to have large marketing campaigns around them. For the most part, things in the back room of the Lego store weren't really a big secret. In terms of like general releases, if it was just things like Lego City sets, Lego Creator 3-in-1, Friends, like some of those like, more key lines that don't have a huge like cult-like following, we would get those sets. They would announce the press release for the set, the pictures, everybody would talk about it months in advance. We'd get the sets in the back room, and we just have to hold on to them until the actual release date. And then when they went on the floor, we would try and have a few of them built so that you could see them on display, but it was nothing too crazy. A lot of the larger sets are the, more specific themes like Star Wars, superhero, creator expert, all those kind of ones. They often had marketing campaigns that kind of went along with the set release. When those sets came out, if they came out on June 1st, we want the displays at the front of the store filled with those sets. So we would often get these sets either before the press releases come out or right as the press releases come out, because we need to take time in store to build them, because if it came out on June 1st, it means on May 30th somebody was staying late to put the set on display and build the store display, or they'd have to come in really early in the morning to do it. That's kind of how it worked there. So there was a lot of times where we had, like the Creator 3-in-1s or the Creator Expert sets, like the treehouse right behind me. I remember we had that in stock probably right around the press release time. It was being released in 15 days, and then we could build that one and put it on display. We didn't have to build it in the back room because it wasn't a secret. Like, people already knew that set was coming, so we actually would build it on the floor, and it'd be like a cool opportunity. If kids were there, we'd let them help them build it. I would build it and like talk to customers and stuff like that. And it was part of the interactive thing, the play demo of the store. But for the most part, a lot of those sets, a lot of sets that LEGO released weren't big releases. They were just standard product releases. Anytime it was a big release though and had a marketing campaign around it, that's where things got a little tricky, and that's where we might build things in advance or have to keep it a secret or anything like that. I remember like when the Friends set came out, that one again was a little bit of a secret. I don't remember if we started getting the shipment before it was announced to the public or after, but I remember we had boxes in the back that was just labeled Pivot. That was the Friends set, but they didn't want the Friends being on the shipping label because then people would know. So it was just Pivot with the set number, and it was like a reference to Friends. That one wasn't really much of a secret. Like I don't think it was like announced one night and available the next day. I think it was announced well in advance, and then we got to build that set on the floor, and like fans could see it and stuff like that. I don't think I ever worked on that set. Like as I said, I specifically helped build the Creator Expert Treehouse. I'm trying to think of some of the other sets that came out during my time there. You know, there was Star Wars sets, stuff like that. Again, we would just kind of, if it was a secret, we would build it in the back, and we'd get orders from the Lego group if it was a secret or not. But if it was announced to the public or I mean, everybody knew about it and it was not deemed confidential, we would build it on the floor. We would sometimes get it in advance, sometimes not. But like, yeah, I'm trying to think. Those are some of the biggest sets that were released during my time at the Lego store. And again, if they weren't like a secret, if they weren't deemed confidential, we could talk about them, display them in the back, and it wasn't anything too crazy. Often we would find out from the press release a set was coming before it actually was in our store. If you're going to a Lego store and you know a set's coming out, but the employee is acting dumb, they either have no idea because the Lego store didn't tell us, we have no actual knowledge about it, and you just, it's online, it's whatever, or they're under strict orders, they're absolutely not allowed to talk about it, and they will lose their job if they do. And it's not like we're not all in the back like 30 employees gossiping. They don't tell everybody, but we do need to know because we need to know like products are coming out. We need to know how to build it, how to display the model and stuff like that. And just of course we need to know not to talk about it if we see something online because if I see something online as a Lego fan, but then bring that to work and tell it when I'm in my uniform, then it seems like it's coming from the Lego company. Versus if I'm just another customer in the store and we're having a conversation about it, that's one thing. But as soon as you're a Lego employee, even if you see it online, you are not allowed to talk about it in the official Lego setting or like here on my YouTube channel, because then people might think I have inside information, which I don't. They might take my word for it because I'm a Lego employee, which sometimes I just found out about online. It's not true. So yeah, there was a couple strict rules around that and regarding releases and stuff like that, but at the Lego store. But definitely the Stranger Things experience was one of my favorites because it was just such a cool opportunity for everybody involved. But that's essentially the story about Lego releases and working at the Lego store during Lego releases. It was really cool, really exciting, and never a dull moment. If you guys have any more questions, specifically about my time at the Lego store or anything like that, I have lots and lots of stories I could honestly tell. So please leave them down in the comments below, and I will definitely try and get to them and answer them here in an episode of Between the Bricks, or of course Ask Brick. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you did enjoy it, please don't forget to leave a like, comment, and of course subscribe. And I'm looking forward to seeing you here in the next video.